So hello, I'm here with David Katz today. David Katz is the founder and CEO of Plastic Bank. And David Katz has been named one of the world's most compassionate entrepreneurs and has received several awards from global awards for his contributions to the world. And I really hope that with this interview, I can help spread the word, not only about what David Katz and Plastic Bank are doing, but also spreading the word about what is possible for us in the world. And so, David, thank you so much for being here. It is such an honor for me. And I'm so happy. I really look forward to hearing and learning so much from you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for creating the space for me to be here, Miriam. It's beautiful as well, and also exhibits your leadership and your stand for change. So thank you.
Thank you. We're here for change. We're here for positive change. So just for the people who are watching, can you just tell us a little bit about what is Plastic Bank? What led you to create Plastic Bank and how it works?
The root cause to marine debris, land-based marine debris, is poverty. The reason we truly are finding as much plastic in the ocean as we are is in large part poverty. It's coming from the areas that have abject poverty, where most of the population doesn't have access to any waste management. They may even have open defecation. There's just extreme poverty where people don't have enough food or water. So to solve that, we ultimately need to solve poverty. And so what have we done? We've created Plastic Bank. We're the world's largest chain of stores for the ultra poor, exactly those people who don't have money for medicine or for food or for clean water, where everything in our store is only available to be purchased using what was considered plastic garbage. Garbage that would otherwise flow into the ocean, or into the river and the canal, used as money so that the poor can pay for the things that they desperately need but couldn't afford. Mm-hmm. And we offer school tuition and medical insurance and cooking fuel and data, Wi-Fi, and cell phone minutes, and everything the poor truly need but couldn't afford using garbage as money. Now, inside of all of that, we've created a banking application, as the name implies, a plastic bank, mm-hmm. where collector communities collect during the day, they return the material, and the value is transferred into an online bank account for them, a blockchain-based bank account. Mm-hmm. And that bank account gives them a sense of security. Ultimately, it's an asset that they have that they actually can hold. They're free from robbery or having a spouse drink the money or steal the money. They obtain a sense of worth. The plastic as well increases its value in the eyes of the collectors. Now, the more frequently someone returns the material, the more consistently they do it, the higher the quality. There's a financial inclusion element that gives our collector communities a credit worthiness score, credit rating, mm-hmm. that then allows them to borrow money immediately based on their reliability. So it's a whole monetary system for materials. The material we collect, masses of materials, almost a few million kilos per month, we sell to great companies like Henkel. So mm-hmm. if you buy a bottle of Persil or a Nature Box product or all kinds of others that has social plastic inside of it, you see social plastic is the material. It's not recycled plastic or virgin social plastic. You can imagine the societal benefit of social plastic, how it helps the whole world change. And so when you buy that bottle that has social plastic, you are working hand in hand with the world's poor to extract that plastic and help end their poverty and suffering at the same time. Mm-hmm. So we've grown to be the world's largest provider of marine debris to manufacturing. We're really closing that loop. We have around 25,000 collectors. It's just a beginning. Somewhere around 85 to 100,000 family members that we influence. We've just collected our first billion bottles, 1,000 million bottles collected and returned to manufacturing. We increased collector income by more than 40%. And and we're just doing what we can. We're an organization that started in Haiti and then went to the Philippines and Indonesia and Brazil and Egypt, and we're actively trying to open Thailand right now. We're committed to Cameroon and then Tanzania and Kenya. And we need to continue growing in every country that we operate in now too. So a tremendous amount of work ahead of us. And I get to witness the end of poverty in people. I get to witness the end of suffering, and I get to make a considerable change in the world. So it's a very beautiful life. It's a life well lived, and it's purposeful.
Wow. Well, what you're saying is really amazing on one side and heartwarming. So basically, you have turned plastic waste into money.
Yep.
And you're giving poor people the possibility to not only get what they need, buy what they need through plastic, but you're also giving them a new sense of worth, of self-worth.
Just in the spirit of word, Miriam, we don't give anyone anything. We hold the space for them to see a new way of being and thinking, where they step into it. They are already resourceful. They are already looking. And they are already whole and complete and remarkable humans. We just create the space. Because you can't donate the end of poverty. It's not possible. So words are what creates the universe around us. So it's important that we communicate, that I communicate and stand forward for those words.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, in essence, when we create that space, that's what they step into. I use a metaphor about a field of diamonds. If you were to walk over a field of diamonds and you recognize there's diamonds everywhere, but you recognize simultaneously that there was no bank ever anywhere would take the diamonds as money. You couldn't deposit them. There's no way to exchange anything. You couldn't buy anything in the stores locally. No one takes diamonds. No one even would barter with you. There's nothing that you could do with the diamonds. Well, they would sit on the ground like rocks. You wouldn't pick them up because there's nothing you could do with them. It's the same thing we do in communities that are awash in plastic. Our existence in the community now reveals the value in the material. We just create the nucleus for it. You see, diamonds are not scarce. Diamonds are plentiful. But there's a monetary system, agreed upon exchange, and a process that includes the quality or the color or the impurity in the diamond. So there's a way not dissimilar to plastic. The color of the plastic, the impurity of the plastic, the properties of the plastic, it's the same. And so we get to do what others have done for diamonds for plastic.
Mm-hmm. This is powerful, what you're just sharing. So basically, what you're saying is that whatever we have has the worth that we give it.
As all of life, it doesn't come with, and I love the saying that, forgive the conversation here. I hope not to trigger anyone that may be listening, but if we take a second into it, life is empty and meaningless. It truly is empty and meaningless. Life doesn't come with meaning. It doesn't come with anything. We place the meaning on life. We make it mean things. That is the way the world is. I make green mean green. I make that speaker mean speaker. I mean, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. We create the world around us. That's the way that it is. The world isn't as it is. The world is as we are.
Yes, absolutely. That is very meaningful what you're saying, and it's the collective. If we look at the economy, at the world as it is now, it is like this because we collectively have been believing that money has a certain value.
Yeah,
we
the
have been
paper does
placing.
something, all of it. It's all a collective agreement. And so
Exactly.
part of our mission at Plastic Bank is to make it a collective agreement. This is the core
Yes.
value of the company, is to gather together, to gather the world together, to then gather the material. For us, we, the conduit, gather the world together to be in a collective agreement that it's money. That's it. And the rest should take care of itself. And then other competition could come and other things could occur in the world that then take advantage of the collective agreement that plastic is money.
Mm-hmm. So through this collective agreement that you've been creating, you have been creating something tangible,
Yeah.
something tangible that is changing people's lives,
Yeah.
that is helping the planet.
Yeah. Yep.
And so basically what you're saying is, I mean, could we apply this to
Anything?
other things in the
course we
world?
could.
You know,
Of course we
when
can. Of course.
because yes, because we see, for example, we think there are problems that can't be solved, or there are, you know, certain things are just as they are.
Careful. Let's be careful here. I have not yet encountered any of the problems that humans have created on the planet that were created by bending the laws of physics.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that we need to accomplish is against the laws of physics.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not accept any conversation that it's impossible to solve anything. Mm-hmm. It's only the creative thinking that makes it so. Mm-hmm. Nothing is against the laws of physics. We could even, you know, talk about Elon Musk even launching, whatever people thought that was against. It turns out it's not against the laws of physics. Okay. So fixing what we need to fix here is very simple. It just takes the collective spirit to do it. Mm-hmm. A mass of people in agreement mm-hmm. that is the way that it is. Mm-hmm. And I live into an absolute abundant, infinite universe, and I know that is occurring because mm-hmm. I live in that space. Mm-hmm. I create from that space of the infinite. Mm-hmm. I create there, I live there, and I invite people into that space. Mm-hmm. And I use my words as an invitation into a new way of thinking, into a new way of being, which is beyond thinking.
I love that. I love that. You're inviting people to a new way of thinking. Mm-hmm. And what's beautiful is that you've been proving that it is true, it's possible, it's not just words.
Nope.
You have created an organization that is operating globally, partnering with companies like Henkel.
Biggest companies, Henkel, S.C. Johnson, Hugo Boss, Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble. We have one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world becoming a customer. We have so much is unfolding. It's remarkable. Mm-hmm. It's remarkable. And see, then they gather their customers, like we're with Gillette in the United States, with their razors. And, you know, they have millions and tens of millions of customers. That message, see, now they're gathering them. You see, now every time it gets up, it's on a package, or, you know, I could show you this Nature Box bottle from Henkel with our beautiful little logo on it as well. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to us because of this. See, it became new for them too. Now it was a new way of thinking. They just looked at it and they on their own had a new way of thinking. Mm-hmm. That's transformation.
Yes, yes. You know, there are many people that I meet in my work, you know, they, in the business world, they say that only win-lose is possible.
Huh? Well,
that is a collective agreement as well, isn't it? So they have.
No, it's not I wouldn't say it's a collective agreement. That's an agreement with a circle that they're in. And exactly, I encounter many who think that way. You know, I have a rule when I encounter those people. Mm-hmm. And that rule is I leave them on their own. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I let them have their own experience, because mm-hmm. I don't spend my precious moments to the here, right now, with someone who believes that I should lose, or mm-hmm. that others should lose. But you're right, and I cut you off. Forgive me. I react to that. Mm-hmm. Because it's true. Many people don't understand that it's infinite. They live in the finite. And in the finite, they believe there's only so many resources. There's only so much wealth. There's only so much love. There's only so much gift. Mm-hmm. And so they fight for the little bit, thinking that they've got to take their little share. But that's based on a notion and a thought that was taught to them somehow, somewhere in the past. And they continue to replicate what they believe to be true, which was a finite interpretation. So of course they will always struggle. Of course they will always be, bound by fear, bound by diminishment, bound by the thoughts of others. And they will die one day in regret.
Yes. The thing is that they didn't learn, they just learned it that way. So when I was talking about collective agreement in their circle, that's what they had learned and what they kept and keep agreeing with the other people who think and have learned the same way.
They were taught it somehow.
They
Someone
were taught
taught
it,
them
yes.
that.
Yes.
Someone told them that.
Yes, exactly. And so for them, that's the only thing that is possible. But it doesn't mean that is their reality. It doesn't have to be everyone's reality.
One reality out of the billions of reality that are on the planet, and set aside the billions and billions and billions of other life that's been on the planet. One reality out of billions and billions. I don't accept it.
Yes, yes. I see that behind you. You got be the change that you wish to see in the world, which I love. That's totally that's my one of my favorite quotes as well. And I think that Gandhi has demonstrated something. He has been
it was his being.
He has been liberating India through peace and love. So many in the world still believe that that is not possible. Although Gandhi has demonstrated it. India is not a small, tiny village. So it is possible when you believe that it is possible.
Everything is possible. And if you believe that to be possible, then it's real. I mean, there's an esoteric conversation in that, but yes, when you believe it to be real, it is real. It's the way it occurs. For Gandhi, he lived and he was in the being of that. He didn't resist. He didn't resist the British. He was free. He lived free. He spoke free. And other people saw that was a way of being. And the rest is history. Yes,
yes, exactly. Now, taking it back to Plastic Bank, what you're doing is within what we would call circular economy.
Sure.
Can you just tell, because not everyone is familiar with the concept of circular economy. Can you just share a little bit how circular economy works at Plastic Bank, so that people can also get a sense of what that looks like in practice?
I'm going to stay in the spirit of our conversation, because if I'm here, and I want to be in a conversation around consciousness, and we just spoke about giving word, and a word becomes life. So circular economy is where there's no such thing as waste. There's no waste. I mean, put the rest together. If there's no waste, what occurs with the material? Nothing is waste. It's all a resource. Everything that comes into your house, whether it be paper or plastic or aluminum or the organics, none of that is waste. Zero of that is waste. It's all a resource that perhaps a lot of people give no value to, but it's a resource. So when there's value in it, it's a resource. So that's circular economy in a very high level. So I don't see a world without plastic, because plastic is remarkable. Look how far we travel. Look at on the moon, in the space, plastic everywhere. It's critically important. But I see a world without waste. I see a world where we don't waste thing or person. I use the question: if every piece of packaging that you saw, or every bottle that you saw, was €5, how many would you see in the ocean? How many would be in the environment? How many would you see in a waste bin? Any? Of course not. We know that if it was €5, I would go get it. Everyone would go get it. No one would throw it out of the window of their car. Of course not. And it should prove to you that it has nothing to do with the plastic. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
It's only the way you chose to see it.
Mm-hmm.
The words that you use are powerful. So circular economy model is, now imagine, do we really believe that in 50 years from now, 50, another lifetime away, what, 50 years? Look at the advancements that we achieved in the last 50. In 50 years from now, we're going to be taking all those material resources that come into our house, we're going to take them out, we're going to put them in a bin, and someone's going to take them to a landfill? Or do you think there's going to be a different way?
Mm-hmm.
Of course there's going to be a different way. Of course it all goes back to manufacturing. It's a consumer to business model where all the packaging comes into the house and then it's returned to manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've created. That's it. We just began that. Now we began that and we're in the areas that are leaching the most amount of debris into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a model for the world.
Yeah.
Where everything is returned to circularity.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of the material value in the house has value. So the family makes a little bit of extra money as well. I gave you examples of circular economy models, but I guess the real interpretation of it, or the real explanation of it, is a stream of materials that never go to waste. They're just used, collected, recycled, turned back into manufacturing, sold again, collected, and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we've begun. That's the power of it all. So we don't need to make more plastic, which is ridiculous. There's 10 trillion kilos of plastic on the earth already. We keep making more. The world this year, I think with masks and stuff, maybe will be about 500 billion kilos of material, but there's 10 trillion on the earth. 10 trillion. We have 20 times the volume of material that we need. Already here, we're making more because someone is making a profit from it. That's it. The only reason that we're experiencing the degradation of humanity, the degradation of the environment, is someone is getting rich.
Mm-hmm.
There's a perversion that exists inside of the human soul, and that is part of this ambition as well. And why I'm, in the conversation over thoughtfulness,
mm-hmm.
over awakening. It's because it's that pursuit,
mm-hmm.
right, that takes us into the degradation. It's degradation of self.
Yes. Well, what you shared is really powerful. This going back to the concept of zero waste. Actually, you're talking about the zero waste Earth. That we have waste because we see it and treat it as waste. But if we see it as valuable, it becomes valuable.
Yes. Sorry, Miriam, to spirit a word here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's waste because, and you just said there again, you said it's only waste because we see it as waste. Is that what you said? So
yes.
Yeah. So ultimately, you use word, and what's there for me in the end is that it's waste because we believe things are wasteful, because we believe that we are available to be wasted, that we could be discarded, that we inherently somewhere inside of us don't have and recognize our inherent beauty and value and worth ourselves. Mm-hmm. So it becomes a paradigm in society that other things and other people could be wasted because it's available for us, so it should be out there. Mm-hmm. I just express that it's deeper, and that what we get to look at is inside of where we had that occurrence. Mm-hmm. Where did we come to that conclusion? Because that's the origin of it.
Yeah, that's very interesting what you're saying, because if we think about babies, for example, they wouldn't think of any kind of waste at all. Nope. For them, everything is just something. There. It's just there. Just exists.
It's something.
Yeah, and it has some sort of value simply because it exists.
Exactly.
And then something happens within us that starts creating a distortion, probably within our self-perception, within the perception of the world around us.
Yeah.
That makes us start.
Conditionality arrives in the home. conditionality when you do something and someone withholds love from you.
Yeah.
And then you come to learn that you are not whole and complete, that it's only upon certain conditions that you're lovable. And yet you don't know why, you don't know where it occurs. At some point, you have no idea. Someone will tell you that you are now not lovable because you didn't do something right that you were completely unaware of.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It starts at home.
And then you've got to find a way to believe that you're lovable by trying to get things from other people, for example.
Yeah, that you're love, that you are in fact love.
Mm-hmm.
You're whole and complete, and what you are is love in the world. And that there's nothing that could be there's no condition that would ever have you not be love in the world. Lots of esoteric conversation. There's lots of depth in all of this, but it is all the truth. And I would ask anyone who is listening to spend time to explore these thoughts. That is as the world is. It sounds a little bit woo-woo for a lot of people who have a resistance over it. And this was not the way I was thinking when I first began Plastic Bank. This is what has occurred as a result of Plastic Bank.
Mm-hmm.
See, I get to become the person in the world. The Plastic Bank uses me. It was the idea that I gave myself to, just like we create the space for the collector to enter so that they can have a transformation. That was what the Plastic Bank did for me. You see, it held the space for me so I could step into it.
Mm-hmm.
I was the impoverished at first.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think these thoughts. I didn't know. I thought life was scarce as well,
Mm-hmm.
and conditional. This has been my journey through it all. This is a beautiful realization that I'm having right now in this conversation. So thank you for this.
Thank you. May I ask you what led you to come to this new awareness, if I may ask you?
How did it arrive? People ask me the same about the Plastic Bank, and my only answer, really, the only truth of it is because anything else I say is just an interpretation or something for people to be able to see it as being tangible. But we're the product of every decision and every experience we've ever had. So how did it arrive? I don't know. I think that what it is that I had some awareness where I could look at everything and say, oh, that's a gift. Okay, if my sheer existence is improbable, impossible, if we could think of the opportunity, the existence of life is improbable, it's statistically impossible. Think of all of the lives, everything that had to occur, every egg, every sperm that had to be created from the 100 generations before me. We do not exist. But if I can accept it as being a gift and go, oh my goodness, my life here, my consciousness here is a gift, I have to accept that everything inside of it is a gift as well. It doesn't come separate. My life itself is the gift. So everything in the life is the gift.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where's the gift in that? Oh, I didn't see that as being a gift. I could never even conceive of that or think that that could be a gift, but yet somewhere inside of it lies something powerful for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd say that part of my life has been to be able to recognize that it's all gift, to give up the resistance and the judgments and the attachments. And go, oh, that's beautiful. That's full of love. Where does love live there?
Yes.
And then you have a life full of love.
Exactly. Then suddenly you start recognizing it. You start seeing it.
You're grateful. Once it's gratitude.
And it's always been there, but you couldn't see it.
Exactly. It's always been there.
Yes.
And then there's even more to be grateful for. And then there's even more abundance. And then it seems that the universe is conspiring in your favor. Of course, it's not conspiring in your favor. You're just receiving it.
Mm-hmm. You're receiving it because you're allowing it.
You're not resisting it anymore. Exactly. It's not even allowing it because that's what exists. You just have to stop saying no.
Yeah. Wow, this is so powerful what you're what you're just sharing. And also, it makes me think about, even you were saying before, this concept of the fact that even poor people, there are no poor people actually. It's like, it's just the way you label yourself, or you let others label you. But when you're saying, everyone is whole and resourceful.
Totally. It just, even
And
in your words as well, Miriam, poor people, what? No, they're people who might not have
exactly,
material possession. They're people who are experience poverty, but they're people. It's like
exactly,
saying a Down syndrome child. No, it's a child that has Down syndrome.
yes,
It's a child. It's a woman, it's a man, it's a person. And they are whole and complete. Whatever else you want to label them with, it's you.
mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And it begins with yourself. I think, even because we keep waiting for somebody else to tell us who we are, and
Right.
somebody else is telling us that we are poor, for example.
Sure.
Somebody is telling us that we are not good enough, or whatever. But in the end, we've got the answer within ourselves. It depends on how we want to see us. And
Yep.
that is the challenge, because we're so conditioned to
There's a gift inside of it, though. Yes, we're conditioned, we're told that. Now, I
yes,
shared a story with you before we began this, that I lost a child 3 years ago, and you had a lot of remorse and pain in your soul for me. But I don't accept that. That's not me. It was a beautiful gift. That's all that it could be. So I live that way. Now I communicate that I lost a child because I look for parents who are still in the label of being a parent who lost a child, so that I can help free them. So I tell people, because I'm amazed at how many other people I encounter. It goes, oh, my sister, myself, someone, my close friend lost a child. They're grieving. It's years past. Oh my goodness. They don't realize that it's a choice. And so I
it's a
want to
choice.
give them some freedom, right? Just in having my child, not with me, but with the gift. What's the gift is that I can help free other parents as well. I can create more abundance in the world. I can have, nothing changes it. Nothing brings Ella back. Nothing brings her back at all. She still lives with me. I feel her around everywhere as energy is. So what do I get to do with that? But I'm not going to be labeled by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can look for other people with a label as well, or have that feeling, so I can be in communication with them. Because for me, that's a moment of consciousness. That's a door that lets people to step into a new way of thinking. So that in case something
Mm-hmm.
happens to them in their life, they don't extinguish their light.
Yes, and it's a choice. They can choose to let the light, um,
Yeah.
how do you say, to
Is
let
it
the light shine.
let it
Yes,
shine?
and they can choose also to, many people don't really, I mean, I know that for myself as well. I haven't, there have been times in which I didn't feel any light within me, but
For
that's a
sure.
choice as well.
Chose a choice. You're right. And not
Yes,
experiencing light inside of me, it does not mean you're a person without light. For sure.
yes, yes, exactly.
I get all of it.
And
I get it.
yes, so everything is a choice. We can choose what we value and what we don't value. We can choose to give everything value.
Yeah, exactly. You can either
That's a
choose that there's
choice.
things that don't have value, or you can choose that all things have value and that everything is valuable. And I don't even think
Yes.
at some point it's not a choice anymore. You don't need to choose, because to choose is to say that there's an opposite. It's the yin and yang, to say, okay, I'm choosing that to have value. That would say that outside of the choice it might not have value. You can just know that it is a value, that everything is a value.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deeper level. But it
Mm-hmm.
starts by
Mm-hmm.
making the choice that it's valuable.
Yes, yes, exactly. Again, as you were saying in the beginning, we create our reality through our thoughts and our words and our choices.
Yep.
And what's I think what is really so wonderful is the fact that we can become aware of all the conditionings that have led us to believe the things that we believe, and we
Yes.
can also choose to look at things differently, and we can choose to
You
create
choose
new
life.
beliefs.
You just choose life. You just choose life. You choose abundance, choose gratitude, just beauty. It really, you know, if there's anything that I would ever want to share with anyone, is just continue to look. You don't need to see the beauty. You don't need to see the gift, but choose to try to find it. Look for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised at how often it appears. And it was in fact the very
Yes.
first thought that I had when I got the news that my daughter died. I sat down and I was able to be composed in a moment of consciousness. And I told myself, David, just look for the gift. There's going to be gifts here. Look for the gift, look for the gift, look for the gift. Don't take your eyes off looking for the gift. And so I came to an agreement that somewhere inside of it was a gift. And then I gave myself to grief. And then I gave myself to the sorrow of it. And I gave myself to everything that would unfold as a result of those things. But I continue to embrace and embark on everything as, how do I find the gift here? Where was the gift? Where was the gift in all of this beauty? Beauty everywhere. Beauty everywhere. I'm not going to share some of the painful stories. Beauty is just beautiful. Just beautiful. It's all there is. It's all there is. It's remarkable.
Oh well, David, such a pity that our time is up. I'm so it's I want to thank you so much for sharing all of this with me and with the world.
Thank you.
What you've been sharing is so precious, and life-changing for the ones who can see the preciousness of it.
Yeah, right.
And you know, it's so inspiring, and I would love to I would love to be able to speak with you, to listen to you so much more. So, well, you've shared already so much value, you know. Well, it was just, I can't even think of one thing that you could share, because everything that you have shared is extremely valuable, and I really hope that people are going to watch to all of this interview.
Yes.
And thank you so much, David, for taking the time to speak with me. And you know, I just want to let everything sink that you shared with me. I want to really reflect on it, and you know, see how that applies, how I can apply that in my life, because it's so precious.
Just look.
So thank you so much, David.
Beautiful.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you. We'll speak again, Miriam. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for the love in your eyes.
Thank you so much.
For the kindness in your heart for me right now. And thank you for creating me that way. It's very kind of you. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, David.